Hi, welcome back to my channel. For a while now I've been wanting to update this display. I made these bases very early on when I was still experimenting, and now looking at it I think it's long overdue for an update. One of the things I want is to make it more fitting with the rest of my Decepticon displays. So please follow me as I go through my creative process. My bases are made of insulation foam. You'll find these at your local hardware store, and they come in big 1-inch sheets. To build the height of the base, you simply stack the sheets together and glue them. And from that you can start sculpting. Some of the things I didn't like about the old bases was the lack of height and how everything was flat, and that was something I definitely wanted to improve on. In this case I decided to recycle one of my old bases. I just added a bunch of foam to the bottom to give it more height and also to give it a slant. I think this gives it more character and definitely makes it more interesting. The white stuff you see is spackle. I put this over the top to cover up little imperfections and also to cover up all the seam lines that you get when you're gluing the sheets together. And again, with most of my pieces I try to sculpt them on all sides. This way I can spin and play with different configurations, and ultimately this will give me more flexibility with how I can display my figures. And once I get to this stage, I can do a quick test on the shelf. This way I can play with different arrangements and double check to make sure everything fits. And once I'm happy with how everything fits, I can now move on to my first layer of primer. For this I went with a dark brown. You can go with any color really, but I recommend a darker color. I personally like the brown because it's warmer and it doesn't deaden your colors like, say, a more neutral gray will. And once that's dried, I can move on to my base colors. Here I'm just establishing my local colors, separating out some of the shapes to add more interest. And after this pass, the rock is pretty much done. With the previous layer of dark brown that I've added, once you introduce the lighter brown on top, in certain areas where the surface is raised, you can start to define the highlights, and this will give you the contrast to make for some pretty convincing rock texture. And after that I continue to define the different panels that I've sculpted. For this I simply used a black brush pen. And when that's done I can finish up with my favorite part, which is the weathering and adding the final details. This is where everything just comes together. To give the surfaces a more real-world feel, I add washes of browns and dark blues. These muddy colors give everything more grit, and then I simply finish everything off by adding highlights to show off the damaged areas with silver metallic paint. And with that I'm done. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe for more content. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.